Please welcome to the show Barbara Corcoran. There she is.
Hi.
Hey,
So beautiful.
Nice big fat leather seat, the kind of men like.
There you go.
For importance.
Barbara is ready. She's ready to rock.
It's early. I'm good in the morning.
Yeah,
At night.
we all are. Do you prefer it in the morning? You know what I'm saying?
I'd never prefer it anymore, frankly.
Oh, no.
Really?
No.
I'm old.
Oh, no.
Stop.
You don't believe me. That guy over there is looking, that's not true. It's true.
Really?
Talk to my husband, Bill.
Oh. Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Bill, we have him on the line, Bill.
You should have him call in. It would be a funny conversation.
Many reasons to say we're so happy to have you here. First of all, here in New York City, the Corcoran name, I mean, even though you don't even own the company anymore. But,
No. I cashed out.
But it shows you how impactful of a company this was and is. Yeah. Her name is still on it. Yeah. So when they crap can me from this place, if you still call it the Elvis Duran show, I'll feel like
won't.
I'll be the Barbara Corcoran.
They're already plotting. I heard them last night. They're debating about your retirement plan, and that's not in it.
Do you know Bob Pittman?
Yes,
Bob
of
Pittman.
course.
Well, here he is. Bob Pittman is in the house.
I haven't seen her in a dog's age, a beard and everything. Rich guy. First real rich guy I ever shook a hand on.
Right. Really?
I had the phonies like Donald Trump, but not the real deal.
He questioned.
He's got the gold microphone.
I do.
That's the rich
He's
guy.
earned it.
Bob
what
Pittman.
a nice surprise, Bob.
Let's talk about a success story. Bob Pittman took our company, which was just, I've got to be honest, it was a piece of crap, this company.
I didn't actually even know that. I'm so ill-informed.
He turned it around, and now we actually have fun coming to work. We're making money for the company. We're making money for the man, but we're having fun doing it.
Who's the man?
You're the man.
You're the man,
You're the
Bob.
man.
Crush me to think I'm the man.
Anyway, so Bob Pittman is a success story, just as you are a success story. And
he's a little bit bigger success. Let's be real here.
we learn from the best. We really do. Absolutely. Well, you're not on a microphone. No one can hear you, Bob.
Good to see you,
no,
Mr.
you're
Pittman.
kidding.
You
I'll
look
share my
fabulous.
mic.
Here,
Come on.
just
Be
share.
right here. Come on.
Okay.
Bob, why is it important?
Nice voice.
Why is it important for us to have Barbara Corcoran here today? What can we learn from the Barbara Corcorans of the world?
Well, by the way, she built one of the biggest names in real estate
Sounds
of
like
anyone.
PR to me.
Of anyone. Oh,
PR to me.
She was great. And by the way, when I came to New York and when I was in the real estate business, this was the name. And the prestige that went with it made you want to list your home, made you want to check there first. They got the first call on everything, I'm certain,
It was
because
never
of what she
that
built.
good, Bob. I'm sorry.
It looked that good from the
Just trimmed
outside.
up.
Everybody was jealous of
And got to be honest,
Yeah,
I never bought a house from the Pittman agency.
No, nor would you want to.
Here's my question, you, Bob. When I met you for that one time for a luncheon, I had no idea how rich you were because I didn't know how to look up anything online at that point in my life. But why didn't I just plain out ask you to marry me? Why did I have to make the money and marry the poor guy versus marry the rich guy and take it easy?
I don't know. Where were you?
You didn't even hit on me. I don't mind short men.
Oh.
Oh,
Ouch!
wow.
Ouch!
You know, this is the aging thing. You know, when you shrink about an inch and a half, you're very.
We're talking.
Now
We're
she's
talking.
petting him.
Now we're talking when you shrunk an inch and a half in height.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I don't
Elvis.
know.
Now
I
you're
don't-
getting way too personal.
Let's be real, Bob. You were short then and you're short now. Let's be real.
So this is
Oh my
why.
gosh.
Okay, so wait, are we? I think what we're hearing now is another reason you become successful. You just have no filter and you
That's
say
it.
what's on your
You can
mind.
say
Yeah,
whatever
but
you
By the way,
want.
I was 6 feet tall. So I don't know when that's short. I don't know who you're
On
we're
your money,
dating.
Bob.
now.
Standing on your money. You
No,
were
Bob, is this out of all your successful friends that you know? Is if what Barbara's exhibiting now? Is this another reason?
I'll take it.
Why
Give it-
she's
get ready.
successful? Because she's not afraid to tell you what's on her mind.
They're
Wait a
comparing
minute.
his
Hold
driver's
on.
license
He's
to see how
showing me
tall he
actually-
is.
I've lost total control of my show.
Wait.
Bob.
Oh,
Okay. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Barbara Corcoran just lost Bob Pittman's Z100
But
license.
Bob, let's be real. Who did you pay off to read yourself as 6 feet tall and you
Not
driver's
anymore,
license?
my dear.
They're comparing his driver's
Okay,
license right
I've
now.
got. I must.
Enough on
I
that.
must get control of my show.
Yeah.
No. I
Let's
asked.
get serious.
I asked a very important question
Yes, what's that, dear?
to Bob, actually.
Bob, you're back on. Go
Barbara
ahead.
Corcoran and other successful people, do they become successful? Is that one of the tricks? To stop filtering things that are on your mind and just lay it out there and be frank with people? Because we're hearing that in
what?
very, very good example.
I think at the end of the day, you have to be who you are. And everybody has a skill, and everybody has a talent. And I think if you play to your talent, you'll succeed. The people who I think fail are the people who try and be something other than what they are. So you have to figure out what's your talent, what can make you great. And that's what you play to. And I just had this discussion with an 18-year-old son. And we were talking about failures. And I said, Andrew, a failure and success is exactly the same thing. It's a stepping stone. The only difference in the two is that when you step on a success, you keep going in the same direction. When you step on a failure, you change direction.
Wow.
Other than that, they're the same thing, and life's just filled with stepping stones. It's a journey. You're always moving.
Barbara, do you agree or disagree with Mr.
I not
Pittman?
only agree with that, Bob, but I remember telling you that exact thing.
I better get out of here before I have any good ideas left.
Of course I
My
agree
gosh.
with that, but eloquently put. Better than I could ever say.
It's true. There are no.
Definitely
We can win and we can lose, but losing is not losing. Losing is changing direction.
You know, you hear a lot about that part, but the first part I thought was more meaningful, that you play to your strengths, and yet we're educated as kids, as young adults, to really kind of be good at everything. And everybody goes out there and starts to focus on what they're not so good at, and they lose their confidence. You are so right in saying you only have to be good at one thing and play it up. I was good at bullshit.
She almost said it. You didn't have to hit the
You
button
clocked
again.
yourself because you're a quick learner.
I was very good at throwing it around, and I was very good at getting people on my side right away. And so that's all I really ever did for a living. I'm sure your skill set was much broader than that one.
Well, you know what? I also think the other thing is, what is success? To me, success is being happy. And what you want to do is you want a job where you wake up in the morning and you can't wait to get to work. And at the end of the day, you're a little sad that the day's over and you have to leave work. And it doesn't, as long as you make enough money to pay the bills and be happy doing that, what's better?
Yeah.
There you
Having
go.
a little bit more than the bills, I think, is a little bit better.
No filter.
You can't do anything with it.
You know what the gift of starting with nothing and making something of yourself is? Total freedom to be a nothing if you choose to. No parental pressure on your back. You don't have to measure up for anybody, to anyone. And and whatever you become is a step up from what you were. And I think the great majority of the people I've met who have been self-made, they were pretty happy when they were nobody, and they're pretty happy when they're somebody. And that's very freeing because you realize you're really happy with no money, so you could always go back there, and that allows you to take certain risks. These kids that are born with privilege honestly have it harder. I've seen so many kids. They got that monkey on their back to measure up. They got the monkey on their back to make a success. They're more afraid of failure because they never had to fail even growing up. They were protected and coached and tutored, and it's a different kind of a world. It's a gift if you could write your own language on a board and be who you want. It really is. Yeah.
Kelly, I think we received $1 billion worth of advice so far.
Absolutely.
Yes, Bethany.
Do we have time for a question?
Yeah, we're going to come back with Barbara in a couple of minutes
Bethany,
too.
you're allowed to talk.
Am I allowed to speak?
Oh, no, you're the boss here,
No, I want to
basically.
make sure we have enough time. I want to read this question because it's so good. And we have a lot of listeners who are either just graduating from college or in college right now. And what should a student be majoring in or studying in college if they want to be an entrepreneur now? Because business and marketing is done in social media. It's so much more different than when you and Mr. Pittman both got started. So what would you suggest they study? Do they have to be a jack of all trades?
You know what I would say to that? It's not about what you're studying in school. It has nothing to do with it. The best thing you could do is go out and get some menial job all the way through college. Try to hustle a table as a waitress. I learned more about sales waitressing on a tip commission basis than I learned in any other job I ever had. So I think it's really not about what you get in school. You can't study entrepreneurship. That's why I think these, advanced degrees are useful in corporate America, but it's about being on the street and getting street smart and thinking on your feet and recovering and bouncing back and coming up with a creative idea. You get none of that in school. It's a program. So I'm not the best one to ask, but I think Bob's going to have a much better answer. Here we go, Bob.
And by the way, before we get to Bob, on your website, Barbara, there's the entrepreneurial IQ test, which is very, very, very
5 minutes,
interesting.
10 questions. I'll have Bob to take it. He would get 10 out of 10, but it works. It's
I don't know. I think we should give it to you now, Bob.
Yes.
I would be afraid to take the test.
What about you,
Not
Bob?
at all.
Life experience versus collegiate experience,
You know what?
or the
Actually,
combination of the both.
I'm not a college graduate, but I love the college experience. I just sort of ran out of time because I was working while I was in college. But I think the great thing about college is not what you learn, it's that you learn how to learn. And you open your mind, you learn about a lot of things that you don't think have any relevance to your life whatsoever. But it's amazing what they'll trigger later in life, and you'll go back and use that experience, that knowledge, and that relationship. Well, I don't know. I think when you get into philosophy, when you get into, I love science. So you get into quantum physics. It's amazing how many times I talk about something in quantum physics as a metaphor for something we're doing in business. And it's just you sort of learn to think outside the box.
But when you're learning it, you don't think it could ever apply. But 20
Absolutely.
years later...
That's kids always say, when am I ever going to use this? I have no idea when you're going to use this, but I know working your brain and learning how to think differently will have an advantage sometime, somehow.
Bob, let me ask you something. So you went to college.
Come to the microphone, Bob.
Yeah, you went to college. You got out early because work got in your way. I'm all for that. But before you left, you studied quantum physics? No, come on.
Quantum physics was way above my head in college.
Oh.
That's what I read for fun.
Oh,
God.
Oh, my God.
That's pornography to him.
Oh,
all right, we've got to take a break.
Thank God.
Barbara's like, I'm glad I didn't
We
marry
actually
him.
have, and I know Bob's a big Shark Tank fan as well. We actually have a product we're going to bring to you. I don't know if you take compliments well. I think you do. Just spending moments and words with you is just enlightening. You really have that effect on people.
Sometimes.
Does it ever
Good
drain
day.
you? Do people asking you for advice, does it ever drain you?
Oh, no, I love giving advice. What drains me is people asking for selfies. And
Okay.
I would say.
By the way, I met you at an NBC one day, and we took a selfie together.
I remember you were just like the rest of them.
No longer. I already have one. Now I'm in. So, Barbara, this book, I know this was out in 2001, I believe.
Yes, correct.
But isn't it funny how a book can turn timeless? Learn How to Bully the Bully was my favorite chapter in this book. Why do you think that is? What is that chapter all about to you?
Well, that chapter is about standing up for yourself, okay? And just like we all had some kid in our childhood that was not fair, tortured the cats in my town. We had one guy tortured my gay brother. But my mother gave a very good lesson for all of us at the breakfast table one day. She told my 3 big, strong brothers to go out and beat the crap out of the bully who was picking on my slighter gay brother.
Right.
After she tried to reason, called the mother, blah, 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 nothing worked. And they just went out and beat the crap out of this kid. So that stayed with me. And then when I was, as a young salesman, making the biggest commission of our company's history, $3 million, $4 million. Now I forget what it was.
For a commission of $4 million?
That's a lot of money.
Wow.
Let me tell you, it was a game changer. And the gentleman that owed me the commission turned around and sued me for that amount instead. I had to hire a bully. So I interviewed every top attorney in town. Thank God I had a good real estate year. I wouldn't have had the money to do it. I would have had to roll over,
So you actually may have lost money just to prove a point that you're not going to be bullied by the bully.
I spent $500,000 in legal fees to sue. And I won, thank God. But if I hadn't, I would have lost the $500,000. But you know what? I think I would have looked back and smiled rather than look back with regret. You don't want to look back with regret. Those are the sad people in life.
Best advice ever.
Well,
I don't regret one thing I've done, even though I've hurt feelings along the way, and I've said the wrong things along the way, but we learn from those things.
You learn also by making the effort, even if it doesn't turn out well. But those people who never make the effort or say, I don't really have to do that, I shouldn't, but those are the people that kind of shrink themselves as time goes on because they're embarrassed in front of themselves, whether they admit it or not.
Someone's at home that has 2 kids, single mom. She's out there just busting her ass to make ends meet. She's afraid to take that next step because she's afraid of the security in her household.
Well, that's reasonable. I would be the same way. That's a little different.
But how can you push a little past that?
Well, first of all, you have to realize you're setting an example for your kids day in and day out. Kids always wind up doing what they see, not what they're hearing from the mom, right? And the mom's much more influential, I always feel, than the dad. Right. I think you have to show your kids that you'll take a chance, but I think there's also a powerful lesson in letting your kids know you haven't because they come first. So I'm not saying that I'm a single mom with 2 kids making my ends meet and I'm going to just quit my job and start a business. I think that's unreasonable and nutty, honestly. If I was a great mom, my kids come first. You have to make sure they're okay. And what could you do within reason for that? And there's not a lot you could do, remember. A lot of people struggle and do the best they can, but those kids are going to leave the household saying, my mother was a champion. She put us first and killed herself for us her entire life, basically gave up her life for us. What's wrong with that lesson? That's a pretty good kid that's going to come out of that household, I think.
You know what I love about Shark Tank? You and your co-sharks, this is just a hobby for you guys. I mean, this is not your bread and butter, this show. If this show is canceled tomorrow, 9th season.
A lot of work for a hobby.
I know, it's a lot of work for a hobby. But if the show went away, okay.
If the show went away, it would be a loss, though.
It would be a loss. But the importance of what I'm trying to say here is that it's not do or die with a show, so you can relax. You can be yourself. You can allow yourself just to say what you want because you don't have to worry about getting fired. If they fire you, okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
But has there ever been something that you like that came on the show and you invested in it and you're like, oh, I should never have invested in that?
Many deals.
Oh, really?
Many deals I invested in, and even going in, I know I'm going to lose my shirt. But, you know, you have to pay to play that Shark Tank show. You have to be a player, right? And you also get into a certain headset. Hey, why not? Why don't I give this kid a chance? What if I'm wrong? I'm rarely wrong, honestly, on that stuff. But let me give this kid a chance.